What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time we are meeting, my name is Oliver and I'm a master's student in economics at Aalto University in Finland. And on this channel we talk about education and early career development, specifically here in Finland. So if you are new here, do consider subscribing. During these weekly live stream Q&As, I answer your most burning questions about studying, living and working in Finland. And if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, there is a link to a Google form in the description box below at the bottom of the description. So if you would like me to answer any of your questions live, please post your question into the Google form. This is because the chat gets pretty busy at times during these live streams, and if you post a question into the chat, it is highly likely that I will miss it. Anyways, again, if you want me to answer any of your questions, post the link, post the question in the description box, in the Google form below. While we're waiting everyone to come online, I will just share this live stream to our Discord server. If you are not yet a member of our Discord server, the idea of the server is to build a community of people interested in studying and working in Finland. And into the server, I post updates about my upcoming videos and these live streams, and we just have a bit more personal conversation about different themes and topics around living in Finland. Awesome, there. If you want to join the Discord server, there is a pinned comment in the chat where you have a link that you can use to join the server at any time. All right, I think I have a couple of questions that were left from last week, so I will jump right in and start answering your questions. All right, so the first question comes from Divi, who is from India and is applying to study in Finland in the next application period, by the way, which starts this December. Then there is he would like to apply to study at Aalto University. And the question is, can Indians study in Finland and get a job there? Oh, definitely, yeah. I actually personally know quite a lot of Indians who have actually come to study and work in Finland. There is nothing that would be stopping you coming to study here and work here afterwards. Do note that Finnish universities have tuition fees for students who come from outside of the European Union or European Economic Area, meaning that you would have to pay tuition fees. You also are able to actually apply for scholarships, which could cover at least some of your tuition fees. So make sure to check my videos about these topics from my channel. Let's see. Just a moment, guys. Actually, while you are, guys who are already here, let me know where you are streaming from and what is the local time in your home country at this current time. It's 8:39 p.m. here in Finland. It's been actually a really rainy and cold October day here in Helsinki. Hopefully it would start getting a bit colder in a couple of weeks, and maybe we get snow before Christmas. What's up? Awesome to have you here. What is hanging? How is it hanging? Just to let you know, if you have any questions about studying or working in Finland, there is a link to a Google form in the description box below. And if you want me to answer any of your questions live, please post your questions into the Google form. All right. Next question comes from Damayanti, who comes from Sri Lanka, residing in Dubai. And I guess that's a typo, Dubai. And she has not yet decided whether or not she wants to come to study in Finland, but is interested in the chemical engineering program at Aalto University. Now the question is, my daughter was selected for the chemical engineering program in Aalto. Oh, okay, cool. That's really cool. She's doing it online because of the pandemic. How is the program and the university? The chemical engineering program at Aalto University is excellent. That's what I've heard. I don't know anyone personally from the program, but I've heard that it is excellent. They have really, really well-known alumni, and overall, people have been extremely satisfied with the program. Of course, you should note that Aalto University is the #1 university in Finland, and they have an extremely high-quality school of engineering. Basically, Aalto University consists, to put this simply, out of the School of Business, School of Engineering, and School of Arts and Design. And the School of Engineering is excellent. So I'm sure that your daughter is going to be happy. Handy, what's up? 12:40 p.m. Tuesday. Oh, it's so late. It's awesome that you are always hanging out in the stream, even though it's so late in the States. Actually, how is the situation currently in Michigan? Is it getting any better? I've heard that it's still the current situation with COVID is getting a bit worse in the States overall. Here it's again, we're still going in the wrong direction, but I guess we're still making good progress. Anyways, the next question comes from Yosin, who comes from India and has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but would like to study engineering and or business, and is currently studying sciences and math. And the question is, can I get a can I get admitted to a bachelor's program? And whilst studying, can I work in Finland? Can I get a job during school, and can I do a master's after graduating as bachelor's? How is the climate, expenses, food habits, etc.? And which is the best place to study in Finland? All right, so there's quite a lot here. So let's go through these one by one. First of all, if the question about are you able to, or could you get admitted to study a bachelor's degree in Finland? Of course, I cannot tell you this. I can't say yes or no. It's totally possible. There's nothing stopping you from actually applying and getting admitted. Please note that getting admitted into Finnish universities in general is not easy. So it's not automatic if you apply. There is the application process is pretty rigorous, and it is you have to put in a lot of work in order to get to study in Finland. Also note that we do have relatively high tuition fees. They are the tuition fees in Finnish universities depend not only on the school, but also the degree program, as well as the level of degree, so whether it's bachelor's or master's. To your question about can I work during my studies? Yes, you can. As a non-European Union resident or citizen, you can work for 25 hours per week on average. There's a couple of exceptions here. I'm not going to go through all of them here because there's quite a lot of details. I have a video about this topic on the channel already live. So please go ahead and check that out. I think the name is "How much can I work as an international student in Finland while studying?" So go ahead and check that video out. And then the question is, next question was, can I get a job? Again, depending on you. There's no guarantees. Plus, finding a job as an international student, especially in the beginning of your school career in Finland, is not easy. Especially since you are coming to do a bachelor's degree. It's very difficult to find a job in Finland with a high school degree. That's just as it is. After you graduate and if you do well in school, there's nothing stopping you from staying here and working. But again, there's no guarantees. You have to know what you're doing in order to do that. So yeah. Can I do a master's after my bachelor's degree? Yes, you can. If you apply to a bachelor's degree in Finland and you get admitted, you are also automatically admitted to do a master's degree at the same school. So basically, if you, for example, apply to study at Aalto University to do a bachelor's in engineering, let's say mechanical engineering, and you get admitted, you are automatically admitted to do a master's degree after you have graduated as bachelor's. How's the climate? Summers are short, but we have a lot of sunlight. It's not too hot. Usually during peak summer, we have 25 degrees Celsius. During summer, it could go to 10 degrees or maybe a bit lower, but that's pretty rare. During the winter, it depends where you are. If you are up in the north, the winter is extremely long and extremely dark. There's hardly any sunlight during the day. We might have, depending on the place, you might have no snow or you might have 4 meters of snow. Depending on the place, you might have +0 degrees Celsius, or you might have -30 degrees Celsius. So it depends a lot on the place. In general, the climate in Finland is really nice compared to, for example, many climates in the south, because it's mild, it's not too hot, plus the seasons are beautiful. So, hey Ariona, what's up? Awesome to have you here as well. Xenon Tech, yeah, I noticed. Awesome to have everyone here live. That's actually currently we are having a very small amount of people live. I think it's because today is Tuesday, not Thursday, which is my normal streaming day. But I'm actually my birthday is actually on Thursday, so I wanted to keep that free. That's why I'm streaming today. Anyways, about the food and habits, this is a very wide question. These are very complicated cultural questions, so I really can't say anything here. It's very different from India, let's say it this way. And which is the best place to study in Finland? Aalto University is the #1 university in Finland. #not sponsored. I study there, but it's ranked internationally the highest out of all Finnish universities. University of Helsinki is another extremely highly ranked university in Finland. But in general, my guideline for international students is that all Finnish universities and institutions of higher learning are of high quality. All right, next question comes from Anand, who is from India and applying in the next application period to Aalto University's program in computer sciences. And the question is, could you create a video talking about the things that professors on the admission committee in Finnish universities look for from students? In specific, the resume and statement of purpose or motivation letter. Unfortunately not. I would love to do that, but the problem is that these things are not public information. And even if I would ask the professors in the committee, they would most likely not share with me any useful information, because the Finnish universities have extremely strict regulations on what information they can share publicly. Basically, in Finland we have a rule for how do you say? Everyone has to have an equal opportunity to apply, which means that the university staff aren't able to share any information that is not already public. And unfortunately, this information is not public. So if I made a video, that would be just purely that would be guesswork. So I don't want to do that kind of a video. Arjuna saying that you promote so much of Aalto University so much that I might end up changing my degree to apply to Aalto. It's simply easy to promote Aalto. First of all, I've studied there for quite many years. All my friends have graduated from Aalto University. Plus, it is the #1 ranking university in Finland, so it's really easy to say so. I would, of course, recommend any other university if I had personal experience. Plus, you have to note that, for example, Aalto University does not offer all possible degrees. For example, Aalto University doesn't have a medical school. The University of Helsinki does. For example, we don't teach Aalto University doesn't teach biology or humanist degrees. Those are mostly in other universities. So in terms of business degrees, engineering and arts and design, Aalto University is the best university in Finland. That's just unfortunately a fact. So anyway, the next question comes from Karna. who comes from Peru. Awesome. And is applying in the next application period, and she's interested in English studies and education, and the field specifically is translation and higher education. Cool. All right. And there's a couple of questions. The first one of which is, I know you are writing your thesis currently. What tools are you using to keep track of your references? And blah, blah, blah. Then there's the second question. That's a good question. I actually, I'm really bad at keeping track of my references with any tool, because in my honest opinion, every single tool that I've ever tried, that, for example, automate citing and referencing, they don't work that fluently with Microsoft Word or Google Docs, which means that they're an extra step in my process, which hinders my writing process. I have tried, let me see if I can find it. I've tried Mendeley Desktop, which is really well liked by the academic world. However, there is a couple of problems there. So what Mendeley does is that it syncs automatically with Word, and you manually insert your references or your sources into the Mendeley program, and then you can basically use, I think, some specific key shortcut in Word to actually start writing a citation, and it will formulate that citation for you. And you can, for example, search for specific documents or articles that you already have in Mendeley. And then the best thing about Mendeley is that since you are basically writing the citations as you go, as you're writing, and you delete them as you're writing, when you're ready and you want to make a list of references, you basically just click one button and the page is done automatically for you, formatted in the way you want. So that is the best feature about it. However, my experience is that when I'm in a mode when I'm just writing, I'm in a flow, I don't want to have any extra applications in my way, and that is why I basically simply manually cite and reference all my articles that I'm using currently. That is going to be a mess, especially if you have like 80 different articles that you're referencing or citing. So you really have to double check, triple check, and quadruple check the your references before you submit your thesis. No other tools have. I have no other tools that I would recommend, because there is no positive experiences that I've had. For some reason, no one wants to develop a good app for this. For some reason, I don't know. If you have any apps that you use, I would love to try them, because I'm currently writing my thesis, as you mentioned. So the second question is, when you start the application for a Finnish university, do you attach your documents, degrees, CVs, etc. in the application, or do you send the physical copies after the application? That's a good question. Depends on the university. Please make sure that you check the specific document requirements from the university website. They will specify what documents they accept digitally and which of them they want hard copies of. Also make sure that when you're checking out the list of documents that you need to send, any documents that you need to send as a hard copy via mail, make sure whether the university wants the original document or a certified and stamped copy. Because sometimes they want the original documents, no idea why, but that's how it is, and they might not accept copies. So just make sure of this. For example, if you send all your documents in the last minute and then you send the wrong versions of them, you might not be able to apply. The universities are pretty strict about the different documents that they want. All right, cool. Let's jump into the chat for just a second. Arjuna saying that it's 11:44 in Lima. Springtime and cloudy though. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the time difference is pretty big. So basically, you're on the completely different other side of the world, because we're going into the winter as we speak. why is Aalto University? What does Aalto University have such low world rankings? Um, well, that depends on your position and your viewpoint. So do keep in mind that Aalto University as a school has only existed for 10 years. So Aalto University was founded in 2010, and basically it was founded by merging three different schools that were the highest ranking universities in Finland. Helsinki School of Business, then the Technical University, which is the current School of Engineering, and then Helsinki School of Arts and Design. And all of those three were basically the top three universities in Finland. And those were merged into Aalto University in 2010. And during these 10 years, Aalto University has grown in world rankings extremely quickly. I think they're like super high in the 50 under 50 or something listings. Of course, if they had been on the world stage for 50 years, they would be higher. But basically, in my personal experience, has been that the first 5 years of Aalto University's history was pretty messy, because it took over 5 years to kind of get everything fixed with the three schools, because they had for example, we had three different campuses that were physically apart. Nowadays, we're all in the same campus, and this took a long time. I think the School of Business moved into the Otaniemi campus in 2019, so under 2 years ago. So basically, this is one of the reasons why the synergies haven't happened yet, but we're going there really quickly. So I could highly recommend Aalto University, no matter what you want to study, unless you want to study medical in medical school, because that's not at Aalto University. Ayush saying, your videos about Technical University of Munich were really good. Why have you deleted them? Ayush, that's a good question. First, because I'm no longer in Germany. I haven't been there since 2016, and I didn't see them as relevant for the channel. They were actually being watched by quite a lot of people, and they were drawing a lot of people into the channel. But because most of those people who were watching the videos from Munich were interested in Germany, not Finland, it was basically drawing wrong kind of people into the channel. That means that those people who were watching the videos from Munich weren't interested in the videos about Finland, which basically told YouTube that this channel isn't working. So that's why I had to private them. The second reason was that basically I was new to YouTube, and I had some mistakes in the videos, for example, some copyright issues, and I wanted to delete the videos to honor the copyright owners of for example, some of the songs that I used. So I just didn't want to have the hassle of having those videos online. The reason why I haven't been vlogging from Finland is because Finland is a very different kind of a country. For some reason, I haven't had the courage to vlog from here. Secondly, I actually haven't been at the school, like sitting at the campus, for a couple of years now, because I've been working full time. So there hasn't been that much interesting stuff to show, for example, at the campus, compared to, for example, when I was in Munich, I was studying full time at the campus. So there is a bit of a difference. Second thing, one more thing is that when I was in Germany, I was traveling quite a lot, so it was fun to show all the places that I went and my experiences in travel in Germany. However, in Finland, I don't travel that much, so again, having a vlog in Finland wouldn't be that interesting. So unfortunately, I had to delete the videos, but what can I do? Just to let everyone know, everyone who has joined the channel, first of all, awesome to have you here. Michael, awesome to have you here. Ashish, same to you. Topoyo, awesome to have you here as well. Then we have Pankayo, awesome to have you here as well. Oh, it's Arthur. You have like 1,000 different accounts. That's funny. Annapurna, awesome to have you here as well as Sahid, awesome to see you here as well. Cool to have everyone online. So since a lot of people have been joining the stream just now, just to remind everyone, if you want me to answer any of your questions live, there is a Google form linked into the description box below. So please post your question into the Google form so that I can answer your questions in a first come first serve basis. If you post your question into the chat, I will most likely miss it because the chat gets pretty busy at times. Anyways, Michael asking, I am a mechanical engineering student at Savonia University of Applied Sciences, and I have a diploma in electrical engineering with 1 year experience in my field of study. Will my qualifications be recognized, and will they be helpful in my job search as an intern? Yeah, definitely, of course. Totally. First of all, if you have a diploma, I guess you mean a full degree in electrical engineering. That's probably a bachelor's level degree. That's really cool, as well as to the fact that you already have some work experience. 1 year is not much, but it's still more than 0. So yeah, definitely, that's absolutely going to help you when you're looking for internships. Arthur saying, using a different account again. Just arrived here in the live, but unfortunately I'll have to leave in a few minutes because I really need to study for my test tomorrow. Do that. Put a lot of effort into your exams so that you will be able to actually get admitted to study in Finland. Annapurna asking, what are the job opportunities for Indians in Finland? There are no specific job opportunities for Indians specifically in Finland. There are job opportunities for international students and graduates in Finnish students and graduates. Depends on you personally, your background, your work experience, as well as your educational background. It's impossible for me to say anything more unless you give me a bit more background information. Zahid saying, hi dear, what's this? What are the requirements for a master's student, for a master's degree in Finland for an international student? Again, that's a very wide question. It depends on your background, the school that you're applying to, the degree that you're applying to. So I would need to know what field you're interested in. I remember you were interested in, was it in international business? But then again, that depends on the degree and the school that you're applying to. They are all the application requirements vary between every single school in Finland, so it's impossible to tell you any more details unless I know more. So what I suggest is that go through the entire video catalog that I have on my channel, especially about applying to study in Finland. Go through all of them and study the links that I have and the resources I have in the description box. Try to look for an interesting school and a degree under that school, and then if you have any more detailed questions about the application process for them, then get back to me, for example, on LinkedIn. However, it's impossible for me to give you more details unless I know more. Ashi is saying, is Finland an accurate representation of Finland? I hear people there are talking about an unemployment problem in Finland, but I haven't heard about it in any video. So I'm not sure if I completely understand the question. However, all right, so the current situation is in Finland in terms of the job market. As is with every single other country except New Zealand currently in the world, the job market has really taken a big hit because of the current situation with COVID. The reason is that or let's say it this way, the loss in jobs and the unemployment specifically impacted the restaurant business, other type of customer service businesses, and any markets and businesses that have something to do with those. Of course, for example, the airlines have been hit heavily. Tourism has hit even more badly. However, if you're talking about highly specialized jobs that require a master's degree, let's say in business or engineering, actually there hasn't been that much of impact. Where people saw a lot of problems last summer when COVID hit was with summer jobs. because every single company in Finland that normally recruits summer people to summer jobs, especially students, panicked because no one knew how this situation would be impacting them financially. So basically all summer jobs last summer were cancelled, almost every single one of them in Finland, meaning that there was a lot of students who didn't get a job for the summer. However, the situation is getting better and the recruitment markets are opening up, and actually the recruitment companies in Finland are actually doing better and better. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. The situation is not optimal, but it's not as bad as it is as it could. Another thing that you might be referring to is that some people say, and that is partially true, that job seeking and finding a job for international students is difficult. That is true, but it's not only because there is problems on the market. One of the biggest problems with international students in terms of getting a job is that people don't know where to look for those jobs. In addition, many international students don't know how to apply for jobs, what kind of special attribute, what are the Finnish recruitment processes like, and for example, how you are supposed to format your documents. Super simple example. One of the subscribers on the channel reached out to me and told me that he had been offered a unpaid internship in a Finnish company. And he was asking for advice whether or not he should accept that unpaid internship. Most likely, I didn't ask for more details, but most likely because in his country and many other cultures as well, you have to take as many job opportunities as possible, no matter if they're paid or unpaid. However, that is completely different in Finland. In Finland, unless the internship is strictly a part of your school, so you have to do it in order to get credits, you should never take unpaid internships. Finnish companies in general don't have unpaid internships, and those companies who have unpaid internships, again, unless it's part of your school, I hate them. I hate those companies. There are actually a bunch of recruitment companies in Finland who have disavowed customers who do unpaid internships. In Finland, we in general think that if you work, no matter what the job is, you have to be paid for your work. The salary might change depending on the job, but if someone offers you an unpaid internship and, for example, tells you that, hey, you have to work because it's good for your CV and for your future job application, that's not true. You have to get paid for your job. Again, caveat here, unless it is strictly about your school. It is a part of your curriculum. Anyhow, Pranay asking, how much do car technicians make in Finland per month? No idea. Unfortunately, I have no clue. Pranay, if you want to, that's a very specific job description. So I don't know. I actually don't know even any tools that you could check that from. Unfortunately, I have no idea. Are you talking about a bachelor's in mechanical engineering or a graduate in car engineering, or is this like a vocational degree that you're talking about? Right. Okay. Ashi is saying that in the Finland Reddit community. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of people in the Reddit communities, in specifically the Finland Reddit communities, are complaining about the job markets. Yes, of course there is problems with the job market, especially with a lot of international students, but not for the reasons that they say on the Reddit communities. And you have to keep in mind that in the internet, usually people only complain when they have positive experiences. People usually don't share those in Reddit communities. They most often share the negative aspects. So basically, if you are in this Reddit bubble, you basically might get a more negative idea of the situation than what it actually is in reality. Anyhow, let's jump into the next question, which comes from Architect Strange. Awesome to have you here once again. Just as a fresher to everyone, Architect Strange comes from India and is applying to study in Finland in the next application period, specifically to Aalto University School of Arts and Design. And the question is, hi buddy, even with a backlog, can we still get admitted into Aalto University? Can you actually elaborate a bit more what you're meaning with the backlog? Because if you mean like that people who have not accepted their study place this year because of COVID, I don't think that should impact your ability to apply and get admitted at all, because the admission process is separate for each year. And I'm pretty sure that the backlog or the people who have applied and not accepted their study place last year will not impact your chances at all. I highly doubt it. If it's going to, Aalto University is most likely going to communicate to the applicants about this. The next question. Pranay saying, I was talking about automotive engineering. I have 2 years of experience in Toyota. Right. All right. Cool. In this case, just hold on a second. One moment. All right, Pranay, what I want you to do is for you to download the Meet Frank mobile recruitment app, hashtag not sponsored on this video. They are a channel sponsor, but not with this video. Meet Frank is a recruitment app that works on iOS and Android. And what is really cool about it is that when you make a profile, when you open up the app for the first time, you will actually give the app quite a lot of information about your background. It will not ask you for any of your personal information. However, it will, for example, ask about your educational background and your work background. And once you have the profile done, you can actually go inside the app, and the app will tell you how much approximately you are going to be paid, or you would be paid if you were to apply for a job right now. It will also give you a sense of the jobs and the job opportunities that are available currently in Finland for you with your specific personal information or personal background. So download the app through the link that I have in the chat, and then check out the potential level of salary from there. If it doesn't work, then let me know. Right. Backlog means failing in a subject. That's a very good question. If you don't have a degree when you apply, that's not a problem. You have to have your papers out of school, or your degree done, and the official papers out of school during the application process. So if you go and check out the application website for the specific program that you were looking at, the School of Arts and Design, they will have a application schedule on the website. And inside that schedule, you should see a date which is basically a deadline for sending all the different documents that you have to send Aalto University. And I'm not sure if this applies to the School of Arts and Design, but I know that there are schools and degrees that do have this opportunity. So if you haven't finished your school by the application deadline, you can still submit those documents after graduating to the school, but it has to be done within a certain deadline. So go to the Aalto Arts and Design application website and check that specific date from there. If it's not yet public, Aalto University should publicize those schedules there within the next few weeks. They have already started publicizing them for other schools. Anyhow, the next question comes from Topoyo. And the question is, hi Oliver, in terms of health-based masters, which university is the best option? University of Helsinki, hands on. Especially since we're talking about university degree or university level degrees. University of Helsinki, or the Helsinki Medical School, which is under the University of Helsinki, is the best med school in Finland by far. And if you graduate from there, you're gonna do fine. You're gonna do very well in Finland. So I recommend that you go check out their different degrees. Next question comes from Aaron, and the question is, have you ever planned on making videos teaching Finnish language? No, I have not. One of the reasons is that my Finnish grammar sucks. I've always been really bad with Finnish grammar, so I don't want to share my grammatical mistakes with anyone else. My girlfriend is like a grammar Nazi, and she would be able to teach everyone, but she doesn't want to. What I recommend you guys to do is to go to the YouTube channel Aleksi himself. He has actually multiple courses on Finnish language, and I think Aleksi has a really cool way of approaching Finnish. Instead of teaching you purely grammatics, he actually focuses quite a lot on spoken language. The reason for this is that in the Finnish language, we actually the grammar is just awful. It's so difficult for many international students, especially because we have like a gazillion different conjunctions. If you saw my video that I published just before the live stream, you know what I mean. But the problem is that even though you know the grammar like the back of your hands, even if you know the grammar really well, you still don't know how to speak like spoken Finnish, because the spoken Finnish is very much different from the kind of correct Finnish, and you're going to be quite confused if when you get to know people and speak to them in the streets, for example. So Aleksi has a really good approach on focusing on the spoken language, because the best way of learning Finnish, in my opinion, is by listening to Finnish, for example, TV, and watching, having them in context, as well as trying to speak as much as possible. So go ahead and check out Aleksi himself, his YouTube channel, and his courses. For example, in I think he has courses in let's see. He has courses in Skillshare as well as Udemy. So go ahead and check those out. All right. The next question comes from Elena. Elena, who comes from Italy and is applying to study in Finland at the University of Helsinki in the next application period, and specifically microbial biotechnology. Ooh, that's cool. All right. Elena, if you're still on in the stream, actually, would you mind explaining what microbial biotechnology is about? Sounds extremely interesting. My brother is actually doing his PhD in biology. So this is, I've been having a lot of interesting discussions with him, and this sounds very, very interesting. Anyhow, the question is, hello, Oliver, and thanks for doing these streams. Awesome to have you here. I wouldn't be doing these streams if you guys weren't interested in my opinion. My question is, if it's not specifically said on the required application enclosures in the Helsinki University website, nor it is a program-specific requirement, do you think I can also submit a reference letter from my tutor that followed me during my bachelor's thesis? I don't see any reason why you couldn't. I don't think it's going to be, at least, yeah, I don't see any reason why you couldn't. These are usually not required at master's level. The reference letters, especially from your professors, they're usually required when you apply for a PhD. Some master's programs also want like letters of recommendations from one's professor. However, like tutor, that is something that a university would not even be able to require, because many tutors, or especially if they're not professors per se. They cannot be required to give you a letter of recommendation because it's not their job. But I don't see any reason why it would be bad for you. It's also likely possible that it will not help you that much. But for example, if you think about a situation where you are on the exact same line with exact same points with another person, like exact same points from all your previous degrees and your exams and motivation letters, and you have this letter of recommendation from your tutor versus this other person doesn't, most likely this will help you get, over the line and into the school. So why not? Absolutely. If you just are able to get one, sure. However, actually, as a disclaimer here, because I don't want to be responsible for you not getting the study place. Contact the University of Helsinki admission services in their via email. I think it is like admissions@helsinki.fi, because they will know for sure, and at least they will tell you if you are not allowed to attach this kind of a letter. So just to make sure, contact them via email, because they will answer you pretty fast, especially now that the applications are about to open in a month. So just to make sure. But again, my honest opinion is that most likely will do you no harm, and if it's close, it will help you go over the line. Let's jump into the chat for a second. Guys, we're actually out of questions in the form. So if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, just go into the description box. To the bottom of the description box, there is a link to a Google form. Post your question there. That will make sure that I will not miss it. Again, the chat is pretty busy, so it is likely that if you post a question there, I might miss it during these live streams. So post your questions that you would like me to answer live into the Google form. Anyhow, let's jump into the chat for just a second. Pranay saying that I also have done a diploma in electrical engineering. Yeah, that's definitely going to help you. Absolutely. Arjun saying, dude, I really appreciate you promoting me, Trank. I have downloaded the app and I didn't find any useful information. I guess you needed to do a video explaining how the app works. Right, so this depends on how you create the profile. So for example, when you create the profile, I would recommend that you select as your location to being Finland, right? Also do note that it is a recruitment app. So if you don't have any experience at all, and when you create your profile, you basically tell the app that you don't have any experience, and you, for example, give it a specific field that doesn't have any demand for workers, then it's not going to give you any information. But for example, for me, as a person who has already a degree, I do have multiple years of experience. There are companies that are trying to hire people like me, and it gives me quite a lot of really useful information about the salary levels, for example, the different jobs that are available, etc. So it depends on what information you gave the app. So, but yeah, of course, and it depends on the person. It's not a Wikipedia per se. It is a recruitment app that, in addition, gives you information about the job market, job situation in Finland. Hi, Oliver. I am a graduate in international relations, and I hope to do a master's related to my bachelor's. So I want to know that are there any paid internship opportunities in NGOs? That's a really good question. That's also pretty impossible for me to say. I'm not that familiar with Finnish NGOs. I would guess so, sure. But you have to work hard to find something. Since you have a degree in international relations, you can do an internship in many other type of companies as well, because that's a pretty wide degree that you have. But yeah, I unfortunately I don't know where to direct you at this point, because I'm not familiar with that field specifically, unfortunately. Rana saying again, for bachelor's, I'm coming to Finland. Is my decision a right one to come to Finland? Please guide me. Again, depends on you personally. If you're capable of paying potentially paying the tuition fees, yes. If you're able to get a scholarship, absolutely yes. And then, of course, depending on what your goals are, the level of education in Finland is very high in general. The universities are really cool. And to be honest, the student culture and just study experience in Finland is so much better than, for example, in many, many, many other countries. It's much more relaxed here. However, we still, the level of skills from Finnish graduates is super high compared to many, many other countries in Finland, even though we have a more relaxed school system here. It's in the Finnish culture. We have a very different approach on education here. I definitely think that it's going to be the right decision. You just need to find the correct school and correct program for you. Super quickly reading Elena's comment, and then I'm jumping back into the form. Elena saying microbial biotechnology. Microbial biotechnology is the study of how microbes can be used to help humans in a way, like for food production, the enzymes used for the production of cheese or yogurt or medicine. Ooh, that's really cool. Hey, actually, Elena, just let me pull out one company for you that you might be really interested in. There is a really cool Finnish growth company called Solar Food that basically creates protein out of thin air. That's their motto. My brother actually did, he worked for them for a while. He was basically their specialist and envoy to space, to the European space market, because he has a degree in space sciences. Solar Foods is a really quickly growing company. They've got a huge amount of financing, and I think that you might be really interested in looking at them. For example, if you want to get an internship or look at them as a future employee, check them out. Follow them on LinkedIn because they have a lot of really interesting content, and consider whether or not that would maybe be a potential match at some point in the future. All right, jumping into the next question in the form, coming from Architect Strange, and the question is, all right, there was a comment, the same comment. So backlog means I have areas in my bachelor's degree that I haven't done. Is this going to be a problem when applying to Aalto University? Yeah, again, so just to repeat myself, there is a specific deadline by which you have to have your previous degree finished if you want to apply to study in Finland. You can still apply and then submit the documents for your degree a bit later, but go to the Aalto University School of Arts and Design website and check out the specific deadline for the documents. I don't remember it out of the top of my head. Next question comes from Elena, and the question is kind of a dumb question. No, there's no dumb questions here. But is it true that there are a lot of mosquitoes in Finland? It is a thing Italians say about Finland, but wanted to know if it was true. I don't think so. No, especially if you live in the city. No, not really. Okay, sure. Let's say it this way: when you go to Lapland, so the northernmost part of Finland, during the summer, you're going to have a lot of mosquitoes. Like so much that I can't bear them. It's way too much. This is especially between July and early August, but at the end of August and the beginning of September, the mosquitoes start to die out because it gets quite a lot colder. But if you, for example, think about like the southern part of Finland in Helsinki, in the city, there's really no mosquitoes. I maybe killed 2 mosquitoes during the entire summer in Helsinki. But again, if you go a bit outside of the city, and for example into the countryside, sure you have, but they're not that much of a nuisance. Of course, if you come from a country where you don't have mosquitoes at all, they're irritating, but they're not bad. Plus, the cool thing is that we don't have any diseases with them. So, for example, we don't have malaria. So they're just irritating, and they sting. But that's it. The next question comes from Feti, who comes from Algeria and is starting school this semester at Aalto University School of Engineering, specifically automation and control. And the question is, what is the condition of the student houses in Helsinki during this corona phase? Are they empty, and does that mean people who applies now will get it easily? No. So basically the situation with the student buildings hasn't changed a bit because they have the exact same demand as they would have normally. A lot of international students didn't come to Finland this semester. However, there's always queues or there's always backlogs of students who want to get into student apartments. So there's not going to be any like empty student apartments. So I don't think the queues are going to be any longer or shorter than normal. The situation is basically the normal. Here, again, my guidelines apply, as I've spoken about in multiple other previous videos, is apply to the different student apartments. For example, in your case, those would be the apartments from the Aalto University Student Union or AYY. They have a bunch of apartments, for example, at the campus, which is really cool. And then the other would be HOAS, so the foundation for the guys who have been sponsoring my channel. So HOAS is actually owned by the Aalto University Student Union, as well as the University of Helsinki Student Union, and a couple of other student organizations. So HOAS is student owned, basically, and it's a non-profit organization. But yeah, basically they've been filling their student apartments like normal. But the guideline was to apply to those apartments as soon as you are allowed to. So I think with HOAS, you can apply for the student apartments at earliest 4 months before you have to move in, or the 4 months before you actually need the apartment. But with AYY, you can apply the second that you are admitted. It doesn't have to be like 4 months. For example, if you're admitted 6 months before you start school, you can apply already. In general, the queues are longer with AYY because the apartments at the campus are in such a high demand. Second, with HOAS and in general with all student apartments, studios are the most high in demand apartments. So if you want to make sure that you get an apartment and fast, you should apply for shared apartments. Of course, it's your decision if you want to, if you want to have that kind of an experience. I've heard quite a lot of people talk a lot of good stuff about shared student apartments. It depends on your roommates, basically. If they're really crappy, then you're going to have a crappy time. If they're really cool, then it's going to be the best time of your life, I guess. Next question comes from Youssef. Awesome to have you here as well. Who is from Egypt and is applying to the Aalto University in the next application period, again, which starts this December, and specifically to the program of computer sciences. And the question is, I graduated from business school. Do I need to take the SATs to apply for a bachelor's degree? And if I take a GRE, would it be possible to apply with it instead of SATs? And also, do universities accept ACT exams? ACTs, I don't actually know. I don't know what they are. No, they don't. ACTs are not used in Finland in general. It is a US-based testing system. In general, in Finland, we use either the SATs, GREs, and then for language proficiency, we use either just SATs, ELs, or TOEFL. Those are basically the tests that we normally use. However, to your question, so if you take a GRE, can you use it instead of an SAT? No, you cannot. This is very specific and you have to be careful with this. If you apply to a bachelor's in computer science at Aalto University, it does not matter if you have already taken an SAT previously, if it's old. They will have the Aalto University, the application website has a specific criteria on how old your SATs can be in order for you to use them to apply. And if they are old, you have to retake them. specifically, if I remember correctly, please make sure to check this yourself. Aalto University, all of the Aalto University bachelor's degrees that are taught in English, they all take only SATs. They do not take GREs. Some of them do accept IELTS or TOEFL for the language proficiency tests. However, there are some of those bachelor's degrees, they only require you to take SATs. There's the specific SAT tests like writing and mathematics, for example. I don't remember. They depend on the degree. So make sure to check this way early so that you have time to do your tests beforehand. All right, cool. If this wasn't clear, then just let me know in the chat and I will elaborate. Sami, awesome to have you here as well. What's up? What is up? If you have any questions about any of the topics that we usually cover on the channel, or if you just want to comment, there is a link to a Google form in the description box below. So if you want to ask anything, just let me know through the form and I will answer your questions in a first come, first serve basis. By the way, guys, I'm running out of questions in the form. So if you have anything that you would like to ask me, just let me know in the form. And I would love to keep going on for a couple of hours. Next question comes from Nuwan, who comes from Sri Lanka. Awesome. And the question is, oh, actually, I think I answered at least a part of this question. So I'm a graduate in international relations, and I hope to do a master's related to my bachelor's degree, like human rights, global law, international affairs, etc. So I want to know, are there any paid career opportunities and internship opportunities in NGOs? For those of you who don't know what NGOs are, they're non-governmental organizations, for example, like the UN, human rights organizations, etc. Please help me find out about career opportunities related to my degree program. Actually, I'm pretty passionate about this topic because my godmother has been working for example, for the UN almost all of her life. The UN, Red Cross, etc. So if you want us to talk a bit more about this, contact me either on via Instagram or LinkedIn. If you could, please prefer LinkedIn because I'm more active there. Send me a connection request and send me a private message, and I will let's have a discussion there. Again, I don't have information for you about this topic live, but I could look into it a bit more when I have more time. So again, just contact me either on Instagram or LinkedIn. Ismail, awesome to have you here as well. What's up? Chopper Squad, the same to you as well. Guys, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, post the question into the Google form in the description box and I will gladly answer them live here. The next question comes from Dilakshi. Sorry for butchering your name. If you want to teach me how to pronounce your name correctly, please send me a voice message on Instagram and tell me how to pronounce your name correctly. Anyhow, she is from India and wants not yet sure whether or not she wants to study in Finland. Let's change that. Anyway, the interest lies in social statistics. Interesting. Oh, that's cool. So I'm a graduate in social statistics and I have planned to study my master's in statistics in Finland. Can you please recommend a university for the statistics or data science? And I want to know about career opportunities for the statistics specialists in Finland. Difficult words. Sure. I don't know specifically about like statisticians or statistics specialists. That's a very specific speciality, right? However, what I do know is that analytics, or especially people who are very well versed in analytics, statistics in general, are very sought after in Finland because they can work in so many different fields and markets. So what I would recommend to you is to look at the master's programs at the University of Helsinki. Specifically, I think there might be a master's program in mathematics and statistics, and then they have a couple of master's programs, I think in, for example, economics, which is very heavily, it's very, very heavily emphasized I'm sorry, the master's program in economics at the University of Helsinki emphasizes a lot, basically mathematics and economical based mathematics, and I actually think that those might be really interesting to you, for you. About the job opportunities themselves, again, it's very difficult to say specifically, but I do know that if you do a master's here and you specialize in statistics and analytics or analysis, you will absolutely definitely find a job. And what is really cool is that most of these, or the clear majority of these jobs, do not require English, because you will basically be working in the back office. You could, for example, one more example, you could, for example, work in a bank as an analyst easily. There's nothing that would stop you. You could, for example, when you're doing your master's, if you major in statistics and analysis, you could, for example, minor in business. That would actually be a really cool, really lucrative combination, because then you could, for example, apply to one of the big banks in Finland, or like management consultancies or technical consultancies, because those people are looking for analytical people, or those companies are looking for analytical people all the time, and having specialized in something like this would be really, really cool. So I hope that helped. The next question comes from Topoyo, and the question is it true that Finland doesn't have variety of spices? I see that you're focusing a lot on the kind of cultural aspects. Cool. Finnish people don't use that much spices. Yeah, that's true, I would say, especially considering that you come from Lesotho, and a lot of people come from India. We don't use that much spices here, no, especially like super spicy spices. You can get everything that you would get, well, not everything, but you can basically get everything from the stores, but people just don't use that much spices here. I don't know why. Probably because we have such fresh produce that we don't really even want to, flavor them too much. On the other hand, I don't know, but yeah, that's true. We don't use that much spices. Next question comes from Elena, and the question is: do you think the corona situation will impact the international student intake for next year? I don't know. I have to be honest. My hope is that it will not. Okay, let's go a bit backwards. So there's multiple ways that it can impact the intake and applications. Number one could be that the universities, for some reason, don't take in as many students as normally. I don't see any reason why they would do that, but that's one. That would, of course, impact the chances or the percentages of people getting in. The second thing would be that if they're not as flexible about being present in Finland when the studies begin. So as background information, if you were admitted to study in Finland this last semester, or this semester basically, you had the opportunity of staying in your home country and just do remote school from your home country. There was no reason moving here. However, it is possible that the universities, if the situation gets better, they demand you to come here, or if you don't come, they will give your place to someone else. That's normally how this goes. And this is a problem, especially if you are in a country from where traveling is restricted to Finland. So I think this is the most potential way this can actually impact it negatively. Other reasons, I don't see any other really big reasons how it would impact the student intake. Of course, especially if since you're doing a master's or you're applying for a master's, I don't think you have. Well, you might have a Zoom interview or something like this, so the whole process would be done online, but for you it would be done online anyway, so I don't think that's going to impact you compared to, for example, Finnish students who apply to study at the Finnish universities. Normally we would have an entrance exam for the admission or application process at the campus. but last year they were mostly done online, which was a disaster. It was so many technical difficulties. But yeah, I think these are the biggest things. Nothing more comes to mind where it would actually have impact. Zahid saying, I have graduated from or done a degree in international relations, and I want to do an internship at any organization, and I also want to do a master's. Do we have any opportunities in Finland? Yeah, sure, definitely. Again, that is a wide question. International relations that's a very wide topic. You could get employed into a bunch of different companies. I don't know any specific companies that would be hiring people for internships in that specific area. But yeah, sure. Finland is a big country. We do have a lot of different opportunities. As of your master's, again, it's very difficult for me to say which master's program you should apply to, because I don't know the exact structure of your previous degree. So when you apply to do a master's in Finland, you usually one of the biggest thing that impacts your application is the previous degree that you have done. Not only the GPA, but also what kind of courses you have done, what is your major and what is your minor. Because for example, if you apply to study, let's say physics at the University of Helsinki or Aalto University, if you have done a bachelor's degree in business, that is not going to help you at all in your master's in physics. So you would actually not even potentially be able to apply, or you would definitely not be admitted. So the program that you apply to and the requirements in the program will depend on basically emphasize your background, your previous educational background. So it has to be somehow relevant to your master's studies. All right. That's just water. What are you guys drinking this evening or morning or day, depending on your local time? Guys, we're actually out of questions in the form. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask me live, please post your question either in the chat or in the Google form that I have linked in the description box below. While waiting for the next question, I would just like to note that this live stream is co-sponsored by Arni. Arni is basically a Finnish brand that designs and manufactures these wooden watches, really awesome wooden watches. And what is really cool about these watches is that the Arni uses Finnish wood as the base material for the cases and the straps of these watches. Personally, I really love this one that I have on my wrist currently, the Arni XO Elm, which is made out of Finnish elm wood, elm tree. Get in focus, there you go. I really love the color combination, and it's really light and it's really durable, and these are actually not even that expensive. So if you guys want to get yourself a Arni watch that would also support the channel, there is a 10% discount code in the description box below if you want to go and check out the watches. They also have wallets as well as sunglasses, and if you actually purchase anything, I will get a small cut, and you will also get a 10% discount on the sales price. Again, thanks for Arni for sponsoring the channel. That really helps me grow the channel and create more consistent content for you guys. Cool. Do you have any questions that you would like me to answer here during the live stream? Just let me know in the Google form or in the chat. I would love to keep going on with the stream. But if you don't have any questions, then I might actually start already ending this stream for today. So if you have any questions, post them in the Google form. She's asking, which university is better for data sciences? University of Helsinki or Aalto University? Not planning on doing a PhD. I'm more interested in working. That's a very good question. So, of course, this is my personal perspective and what I've heard. So please take this into account. Atrion, the Google form link is in the description box below, all the way at the bottom of the description box. You have these red or yellow triangles around it. So the link is between them. You can find it down there. Anyway, so yeah, Ashish, that's a really good question. And please, again, take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because this is based on my personal experience and the hearsay that I've heard from my friends who study at the University of Helsinki. The Aalto University is a bit more practical compared to University of Helsinki, which is more academic is not necessarily the correct term. But for example, since you mentioned that you're not going to do a PhD, based on that, I would actually say that Aalto University is a bit better for you. For example, what I base this on is that, for example, the Aalto University and the University of Helsinki both have a program in economics. And both of the programs the master's degree programs in economics are very, very academic. They're very, statistics and science based. And they're one of the most difficult degrees to do in business. I have friends who have done degrees both at the University of Helsinki and at Aalto. And I actually had a friend who actually did degrees in both schools in economics. And every single one of them has said that the University of Helsinki is more theoretical. And they focus more on the kind of the academic and theoretical mathematics side of things. So based on this, I would say that that Aalto University is better in this term. Both are ranked extremely high, or basically Aalto University and University of Helsinki are basically like on the same line in terms of rankings in Finland. University of Helsinki is ranked higher than Aalto in some perspectives or some fields. Aalto University is ranked higher globally in some fields. So I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Again, University of Helsinki is a bit more theoretical. But if you graduate of either of them, you will have excellent career prospects. So I'm not sure if this helped at all, but hopefully it did. Ismail saying, do you mean that University of Applied Sciences can cancel my registration even if I have a student certificate stating that that I registered as absent for this academic year and present for the 2021-2022 academic year? No, I did not mean that. No. So if you mean what I said about you needing to be present, no. Don't misunderstand it. The question from the previous question that I referred or answered to when I was referring to that was, is there going to be any kind of differences in the student intake next year or this year because of COVID? And one of my speculations is that it might be that unlike last semester or the last application period during which you applied, it might be that if the situation with COVID gets much better by the end of spring next year, 2021, it might be that the universities will demand students to be present in Finland if they register themselves as present at the university, right? However, if you are absent or registered as non-attending or absent, they should have no impact on you at all. So don't mix them up. I was talking about something else. All right, we have a couple of questions, 2 questions in the form. So please, if you have any more questions, just let me know. Again, I will keep streaming as long as I have questions in the form. And when I run out of them, I might end the stream. Actually, by the way, if some of you guys are not yet a part of our Discord community, there is, if you go all the way up in the YouTube chat, live chat, there is a link to our Discord server. So if this is the first time you're hearing about the server, the idea is to build a community of people who are interested in studying and working in Finland. And in the server, I post updates about videos and upcoming live streams, and we just have a more personal dialogue there. And for example, I answer a lot of your frequently asked questions there. So if you want to join the community, just go all the way up in the YouTube live chat and click the join link for the server. Anyways, the next question comes from Emma from the US, who is already studying at the Savonia University of Applied Sciences, and specifically mechanical engineering. Awesome to have you here as well, Emma. The question is, hi, I'm a bachelor student currently doing my first semester at Savonia UAS, University of Applied Sciences. At first, I accepted Savonia because of its degree program in mechanical engineering. However, as the day is progressing, I'm feeling that a University of Applied Sciences degree are more practical oriented. And even some Finnish people think that UAS as a proper even some Finns don't think of UAS as a proper university. Had some personal experiences. As transferring from a University of Applied Sciences to university is currently not possible, that's why I'm thinking of applying as a new student to a Finnish university in the upcoming joint application season on computer science related subjects. Is it a wise decision for me to join a university on a different subject after completing 1 year of studies at a University of Applied Sciences in another subject? Also, is a University of Applied Sciences that bad to study, as there are no ranking indicators to understand how good these University of Applied Sciences are? That's a really good question, and it's a complicated topic, so please bear with me. I have to simplify this a bit, and please, Emma, do note that this is based on my personal experience, or my reply is going to be based on my personal experience and the experiences of those who are close to me. All right, so there's a lot here. So you had heard from some Finnish people that the universities of applied sciences in Finland are not like real universities. That is technically not true. They are designated as universities, which operate under the Finnish Ministry of Education. However, what is true is that they are more practical. They're more hands-on oriented. So how I would think of this is that, for example, Emma, specifically for you in the kind of the US context, in Finland we don't really have colleges, right? However, especially we don't have colleges that are equivalent to the ones in the US or, for example, in the UK. Because if you, for example, I'm sure that you've already built your personal study plan, you've noticed that there's the curriculum is very much different from a college in the US. That is to say that, for example, if you do a degree at a University of Applied Sciences in mechanical engineering, you are not able to take liberal arts or Swahili in your degree, right? They're more specialized. They're very heavily specialized and focused on that field, right? So this is where Finnish education system in the university level differs from the US, okay? However, I would still kind of compare UASs to colleges in terms that if you, for example, go to a university in the US and do a master's degree, that is regarded quite a lot higher in terms of education. It's not exactly the same in Finland. However, couple of very practical or very specific differences between universities of applied sciences and the universities. These are actually true. These are not out of my head. Universities of applied sciences are more practical, and many of the degrees that they teach are not actually even available at a university level. For example, you cannot study to become a nurse at a university, because if you go to study at a medical school, which is a university level education, you will become a doctor, right? And then you after you graduate, you will then specialize in whatever you want. Nurses are educated at universities of applied sciences. The same goes to, for example, business. Someone was asking me in a previous video about becoming an accountant if you, for example, do a master's degree in accounting and business administration. Not a single person in Finland should, if they have done a master's in accounting and administration, business administration, not a single person should become an accountant, because that is way too low for someone who has a master's degree. However, if you do a bachelor's degree in a university of applied sciences in accounting, then sure, you can become an accountant. You can do a lot of many other things as well. But if you do a master's in the same topic, it is the same topic only in name. However, you will basically become an auditor. You could become a CEO, chief financial officer, whatever. So your career prospects at a university level when you graduate as masters is in general higher, much higher than if you graduate from a university of applied sciences. There's a big caveat here. Again, let's go back to the example about nurses. Since you are not able to graduate as a nurse from a university, you don't have that career option from there because you need a certificate to work in Finland. However, if you graduate as a nurse from a university of applied sciences, you are not allowed to work as a doctor. Rather, if you graduate as a nurse, you have to then work for X amount of years, and then you can apply to medical school to actually get a degree as a doctor, right? The same goes to most master's degrees. So in general, almost every single university of applied sciences, not all, there's a couple of exceptions, only teach or provide bachelor's level degrees. There's a couple of UAS that also provide master's level degrees. However, after you graduate as a bachelor's, for example, in mechanical engineering from Savonia, you have to work, I think, for 3 years in your field before you're allowed to apply for a master's degree. So here's the big difference. So when you are admitted to study at a university, say, for example, at Aalto University or University of Turku or Oulu, when you're admitted to do a bachelor's, you are automatically also admitted to do a master's immediately after you have graduated as a bachelor's in your field. So there is no requirement for work experience in between. So these are the biggest differences between these two type of schools. Sorry for everyone else. This is going to be a long answer, but I hope that you are also getting some information out of this. But this is a big decision, so I want to give you as much information as possible. To the question, there was a comment that some Finnish people don't think that universities of applied sciences are real universities or schools. What this refers to is that as it is with, for example, college and university education in the US, there are different levels of education. And there's always people who are badgering and teasing everyone else who has done a lower degree, right? There's really nothing else to it. The biggest difference that my friends have noticed, for example, my girlfriend is doing a university degree in the Aalto University School of Business, so same school as I am. However, in the middle of her degree, she decided that she wants to do a second degree in occupational therapy, which is specifically a degree like nursing that you have to do in a University of Applied Sciences. And she applied and got into Metropolia, University of Applied Sciences. And the big difference that she noted there is in the type of is in the way the education is structured. So at university level, we have something that we call academic freedom, which is exactly that. No one is going to stand behind your back and make sure that you are going to do your courses and graduate. when you're, for example, doing your thesis, you're extremely independent. No one is going to be there making sure that you actually write the thesis and you graduate. You will, of course, have a professor that is going to help you, but they're only going to help you to a certain extent. They're going to give you advice, but they're not going to hold your hand. In addition, at a university level, you're also expected to search for more information and actually be more independent in your information search than at a University of Applied Science level. This applies to everything: your personal study plan, your classes, your school day-to-day life, your thesis, your whatever. So there's, again, no one is going to be holding your hand. What my girlfriend noticed at Metropolia was that they had much more control over the students. The study plans, personal study plans, were more strict, so you had less flexibility in what you wanted to do, what courses you could take, when could you, and when you could take those courses. At a university, no one has ever asked me if I have done a course or when I want to do or told me when I have to do a course. I simply register to courses, go to them. If I fail them, then I have to retake them. But that's no problem. I basically postponed a couple of courses for 3 years because I didn't want to take them, and then I took them just before I graduated. But this is not possible at certain universities of applied sciences. Excuse me. So as you can see, here's a bit of difference. One more thing that she noticed is that when she was doing her thesis, so bachelor's level thesis at the Metropolia, the way that the thesis was structured and the way that the professors or lecturers were guiding them through the thesis process was much more controlled. They told her what to do, when to submit. They were very strict about what she could write about, etc. And she got really frustrated because she had gotten used to the independency and the amount of choice that you have when you're doing a university degree. And she actually ended up coming back to the School of Business. She's going to finish the degree a bit later in Metropolia, but she put that on pause for a while. So I think these are the biggest differences that people have noticed. I don't want to bash any Finnish school because all of the universities and universities of applied sciences in Finland are of high quality. However, the question is completely about what do you want to do. So for example, in your case, Abola, I do have a Facebook. I haven't been active there in 3 years, and I haven't accepted a single friend request in over 2 years, even if they're friends of mine. So there's no point in trying to find me. If you want to find me, try to go into the description box, check out my profiles on LinkedIn and Instagram, and you can find me there. Okay, so again, sorry, this is going to be a long discussion. So about your decision on or question about transferring, or applying to a bachelor's level degree at a Finnish university in computer sciences. And is it a wise why excuse. All right. And is it a wise decision? That is up to you. But my personal opinion is that if you want to do well in Finland, build your career in Finland, build a career outside of Finland, if you do a master's degree in computer sciences, you will not regret it a second, unless you hate it. There is a crazy demand for computer scientists, specifically software developers, software engineers in Finland. We have a deficit of tens of thousands. A couple of years ago, it was 10,000, but it's growing by the thousands every single year. And the problem is that the residence permit process for people who have already graduated abroad to get a working visa to Finland, it's really restrictive, and that is why if you want to work in Finland in computer sciences or software development, the best way for you to do it is to actually get a degree here. But basically, to summarize, and this is of course take everything with a grain of salt, but basically the situation is as follows. For the last 4 years, Finland has experienced something called applicants market, meaning that specifically in the field of computer sciences, there is such a lack of developers in Finland that the best developers have basically been able to set their own terms on who they want to work for, what kind of salary they want, what kind of perks and benefits they want, and they can't be denied, but because these kind of people don't exist on the market. So if you want to make money, if you want to make money and you want to work with flexible requirements and for really good companies, then do a degree in computer sciences. So if you want to do it, of course, you have to go through the application process. That's going to be rigorous. I specifically recommend that you apply to Aalto University because they have the best computer science program in Finland. And actually Aalto University is currently having a problem because most of their computer science students are not graduating from school because companies are basically ripping them out of school to work for them. And that's a problem for the university because they get public funding based on a number of graduates. So they're trying to give incentives to students to actually graduate at some point. Anyhow, sorry guys, this was a long answer. I hope everyone else got some value out of this as well. Emma, I hope that you're still live, and I hope that this gave you at least a bit of perspective. There's no right or wrong answer here. And again, this is based on my personal experience and experience of those good friends of mine who have experience both at university and a University of Applied Sciences level. There. All right. Next question comes from Atrion, who comes from Bangladesh, is already studying in Finland, and specifically bachelor's in urban development and civil engineering. The master is going to be in civil engineering. And the question is it hard to find work in Finland in the field of civil engineering? Again, it's really difficult to say, especially at the current stage. What I do know is that some companies in this field do require Finnish language skills, at least to some point. However, for example, when I was working for this recruitment company, from where I resigned from this September, I actually interviewed a couple of international people, students who were working at a company specializing in civil engineering, and they both worked at the back office, so basically as designers. Neither of them spoke a word of Finnish, or a couple of words, but they told me that there's a lot of companies in Finland that specifically hire international people, designers, engineers, to the back office. So as long as you don't have to be in direct contact with the customers, then you should be fine. However, these kind of civil engineering jobs, for example, if you are, let's say, urban planner or architect or something like this, and you work directly with the customer, then it might be that it requires at least some Finnish. Might be, not sure. But if you work at the back office as a designer, then you should have no problem. In addition, if you do a master's in civil engineering, the salary levels for those guys is in general the salary levels for master's graduates in civil engineering is in general at a good level. So you should do fine. Apparently I'm getting a bit tired. Oh boy. All right, next question comes from Aaron. And the question is, I've heard that firearms are I've heard that owning a gun, a firearm, is a big thing in Finland. Is that true, and do I own one? All right, so let's let's split this up. So, especially considering the current situation with the world, if any one of you has been following what is happening in the United States of America, and you look at the way that they handle guns and gun control, we are not even close to what they are. So Finland has a relatively high number of firearms or guns. However, we have some of the strictest gun regulation in the entire world, considering that we actually have gun owners. How you how you get a permit for a gun, how you have to, for example, safe keep your weapons and your ammunition, how you can actually use the weapons. So the different types of use cases you have for them, they're extremely heavily restricted, and you cannot just go to a fire or gun range and start shooting with a gun that you don't own. It's Finland, again, it's extremely restricted, and most guns that Finnish people own are for hunting. And those weapons are very heavily restricted, and we have a very strict gun registry, and people who, for example, have criminal records are not able to get guns. In addition, what is very interesting compared to, for example, the US, is that owning a handgun in Finland, so meaning a small gun in Finland, it's extremely difficult. It is very difficult unless you are a hobbyist, unless you are a serious hobbyist and you are a member of a gun club and you actually practice shooting. You cannot just buy a handgun. You have to go through a very strict and long process in order to get yourself a handgun. I don't own a weapon myself. I am very well practiced with guns because all Finnish men have to go to do a mandatory military service when they're 18. So Finns are in general very familiar with weapons. However, you don't see them in our day-to-day life at all. I have a couple of relatives. I have some people that I know who do, for example, own shotguns that they use to hunt birds. There's, for example, elk and deer is hunted in Finland quite a lot during the specific seasons. But again, it's very, very restricted. So I would say that owning a firearm in Finland is the closest country that you could say that Finland is like another country that I would say that is a bit like Finland is actually Switzerland. So Switzerland has a very high percentage of gun owners, or they have a lot of gun owners in Switzerland because of the culture, but they also have extremely strict gun regulations. So if you, for example, look at what's happening in the US with weapons or guns, it's completely unique. It has absolutely nothing to do with what we are doing here. So yeah, cool. Interesting question though. Yeah. All right, let's see. How is bachelor's in CS in Aalto? There is no bachelor's in computer science in English. Yes, there is. Let me check. You have, okay, so the bachelor's degree in computer science at Aalto University is not named bachelor's degree or bachelor's program in computer science. It is bachelor's program in science and technology, under which you have a major in in data science, computational engineering, digital systems and design, and quantum technology. So the way that we have our bachelor's degrees is a bit different, or how they're structured is a bit different, for example, from the US. So for example, Aalto University has a bachelor's and master's program they have a bachelor's program in economics and business. That's it. But you have everything underneath it. You have marketing, business law, you have finance, economics, business ethics, for example. Everything is underneath that one program. So you have, for example, computational engineering, which is one of those that is really close to computer sciences. Also, you should take into account that if you take a bachelor's degree that is not specifically named what you want to study, it doesn't matter, because you have a lot of flexibility on the courses that you can take, because you can structure your personal study plan very quite freely compared to, for example, universities of applied sciences. I will link you the website where you can actually find the Aalto University bachelor's programs. There you go. So go all the way down, and you can find Aalto bachelor's programs in science and technology, and underneath that you can find the different programs. Open at least computational engineering, data science, and digital systems and design, and go through the curriculum that they have, and you can find a lot of courses that are specifically about software development, data. You have automation, etc. Yeah. Anyhow, next question, guys. I will go through the questions that I have in the form first, and then I will jump back into the live chat. So just to let you know. So if you want me to answer any of your questions live, just post them into the Google form, and I will go through them more quickly. So the next question comes from Andrea. Awesome to have you here as well, once again, who comes from the US and is applying to Arcada or LAB, so Lappeenranta University of Applied Sciences, in the next application period, and specifically applying to study nursing. And the question is, do you think it's possible to transfer from one University of Applied Sciences to another and still able to continue the same program without having to start all over again? That depends on the school and the degree. So we have so basically you can transfer some of your studies to another degree, but it depends on both degrees that you're studying, or the one that you have been studying and the one that you're going to study. So for example, again, I used my girlfriend as an example. She already had done quite a lot of her degree in business at Aalto University. And when she applied and got admitted to study occupational therapy at Metropolia, University of Applied Sciences, there was quite a lot of basic courses like a basic business course and a lot of language courses that she was able to transfer from the Aalto University degree. So she didn't have to take those. However, of course, you have the specialized courses that you are not able to transfer, which is pretty obvious. So for example, if we say that you transfer from nursing to nursing at a lab to another school where you continue studying nursing, it is highly likely that you are able to transfer at least some of your courses, not all, but some, to another school. However, if you, for example, transfer from nursing to any other degree like occupational therapy, business, engineering, then no. Most likely you might be able to transfer some language courses, but also there's a restriction that if you go from University of Applied Sciences to a university, it's highly likely that you're not able to transfer any of your credits, because the courses at universities are more deep, in-depth, and they are longer, so the credits are not equal, right? I hope that answered your question. Next question comes from Blake from the Philippines. Awesome to have you here as well. Who has Blake has not decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in Metropolia University of Applied Sciences and specifically nursing. Cool. Actually, Blake is a regular on the channel, so awesome to have you here as well. And the question is, I am planning to apply for nursing studies in Metropolia, and I'm a registered nurse, I do remember that, in the Philippines, and I have finished my bachelor's in nursing in my home country as well. Will my education credits earned in the Philippines be credited? Should I go to a certain agency, body, or university to accredit my internationally earned degree first? Or should I just start fresh with the course? Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually contacted the Association of Nurses in Finland about this during the summer, because a lot of people were asking me about this during the summer. And if I remember correctly, the unfortunate thing with the Finnish healthcare system is that we have the healthcare system is pretty regulated, and for example, there are many different fields, underneath the healthcare system that are regulated so heavily that if you have a degree from another country, it's not going to be accepted here, or you at least have to do some extra courses to fill up so that you know how the local system works and you know the local regulation, etc. What I would do is I would contact Metropolia. They're specifically their admission services. So that's, I think it should be admissions at metropolia.fi. Please check that. Send them an email with the exact same thing that you said here and ask them the same thing. They will be able to give you the answer 100% certain, right? Because they can ask their professors there. The problem is that my guess is that you are not able to accredit, especially not all of your studies from the Philippines, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure that you will be able to accredit some. And to be honest, even if you are not able to accredit everything, since you are a registered nurse, you're probably going to fly through the degree, because most of the courses, especially on the basic level, are going to be super easy for you, and most of the things are basically going to be, nothing is going to be new for you, except for the local regulations and so on. So I'm sure that you could do really well. The one cool thing is that if you get a degree / if you get certified in Finland, there's so much work. There's like even too much work for here, especially considering the current situation, where there's a huge demand for talented and motivated healthcare workers, for example, nurses in Finland. That I really want you to come here. Not only because you can actually do a lot of good here, but because I'm sure that you can have a good career here as well. And if you at some point want to actually do a higher degree, for example, apply to med school, you could do that as well. One way to do it would be to get accredited as a nurse in Finland, work here for X amount of years, don't remember what the exact number is, get a residence permit, and then apply to study in med school to become a doctor, if that's something that you want. But it's also a possibility for you in the future. So again, sorry for not giving you a direct answer, but I hope that this gave you at least some context. All right, next question comes from Architect Strange. Once again, welcome. Welcome to the Google form. I'm glad to have you here. All right, and the question is, if possible, suggest any links or websites for finding architect jobs in and around Finland. That is a very good question indeed. What I would recommend you to do is to, one moment, check out actually, it might not, you're not, it's not possible for you to yet log into Aalto University Career Services, but when you actually get your profile to Aalto after being admitted, you can actually access their career services website, which holds a bunch of different job opportunities at all times. So that's one that I would actually look for. One other thing that I would do if I were you, I would actually contact the University Career Services yourself and ask them for help. That's one way. I don't know. Let's see super fast. One thing that you could do is to look at the, you could try to contact the Finnish Association of Architects, SAFA. Their job website is not in English. However, you could check out their website. So just a moment. There, check out that website, contact them, for example. They do have a career site, but again, it's unfortunately not in English. They do have some openings, but it seems that they're all in Finnish at this point. They also have a job application registry, so check that is as well. It's when you go to the website, just if you have a Google Translate plugin in Chrome, just use that, translate the entire page, and you can check out the information that they have there. I think that's the first place to start, and then when you get admitted to school, contact the career services and ask them for help. They will, of course, help their own students to get a job. Nothing is guaranteed, but of course that's why they are there. Anyhow, the next question comes from Labib Hassan Khan, who comes from Bangladesh and has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, and is currently studying at the Aalto University and interested in computer sciences. The question is, what should I do to get a full scholarship in Aalto University for masters apart from having a high GPA? Unfortunately, I am not able to provide you with any information on this topic. I can give you guidelines. So go and check out the application website for the computer sciences degree from Aalto University website. Go through all the different application requirements and the required documents and start practicing. For example, motivation letters, CVs, start updating your CV. Try to get as many letters of recommendations from your professors from your current university. If you have a job or if you've been working, try to get a letter of recommendation from your boss as well, but the professors are more important in this case. Start practicing writing motivation letters. Unfortunately, I cannot give any recommendations there because I have no prior experience in writing or reading motivation letters specifically for university applications. In addition, if you are able, or if there are any tests that you have to take, I don't remember exactly out of the top of my head, start practicing now. So basically you have to try to get as high points and as good grades from everything from the list that they require as possible. Unfortunately, I actually have a video coming up this week about this topic where I tell everyone that the exact requirements for scholarships in Finland are not public information. This means that anything that you read on Reddit or other forums, you have to take with a huge grain of salt because those are most likely not true. The reason is that the scholarships are granted on a competitive basis to the best applicants. And this depends on the university, the level of degree that you apply to, bachelor's or master's, the degree program itself, because different programs have different requirements, and the level of applicants each year, because you have one year you have better applicants than the other, so which means that it's more difficult to get a scholarship. So this is why it's so difficult to tell you anything about them. In addition, if you, for example, ask the university admission services about the different specific requirements for a scholarship, they're not able to provide you any other information than what they have on the website, because by Finnish law, you have to provide every single student equal opportunity to apply and to get a scholarship, and the universities could actually get into legal trouble if they give you any advice that they don't give everyone else. Right, I hope you understand what I'm saying. So what I can say is that getting a scholarship, specifically a full scholarship to Aalto University, the master's program in computer sciences, is not going to be easy. So for example, if you have grades that are not as good as they could be in your current degree, if you're able to retake exams or try to get them higher, do it. Do it. It might be actually worth it after the application. Sorry, I can't give you any more advice because, again, I don't have any specific information, simply put. Next question comes from Blaze, who comes from Rwanda. Awesome. Awesome to have you here as well. And he's applying in the next application period to HAMK, which is, Hamen University of Applied Sciences, and in the bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. And the question is, how long would it take for me to get a menial job after my arrival to Riihimäki city? And how much can I earn on average? Is it possible for me to get one before my arrival? No. Getting a job before coming to Finland, especially considering that you're coming here to do a bachelor's, is not possible. Finnish companies are not going to hire anyone with a high school degree, especially if they don't have a lot of prior work experience. Especially if they're not in the country yet. That's not going to happen. In terms of getting a job after coming to Riihimäki, it depends on you, your ability to be active. So because you're coming to do a bachelor's degree, you don't have a degree prior, I guess, except for high school. You have to start looking for part-time work in, for example, service sectors or bars, restaurants, grocery stores, clothing stores, everything like this. Actually, storage facilities, they have really good jobs because they don't require that much experience and they pay really well, especially if you do night shifts. So, pro tip. You can actually do a lot of like really a lot of money if you work at these storage factories and you do night shifts, especially if you do cold storage. Pro tip, everyone, you can actually do like a lot of money. I'm meaning like really a lot of money. No one wants those jobs. So, yeah. What I recommend you to do is even before you come to Finland, make sure that you update your CV and update it to look like a Finnish CV. I will have some tips on this later this fall before the New Year's. And when you come to Finland, put on your shoes, print out a bunch of CVs, and walk into every single store, bar, restaurant that you can find close to the campus or your home, and introduce yourself, tell what you're doing here, that you're pursuing a degree, you have just arrived to Finland, and you're looking for a part-time job. Would you have anything open? And you would let them know that you're willing to do almost anything, whether it be picking up classes or in a clothing store, for example. You might not be able to work the cashier or cash machine because you would most likely need Finnish, but you could, for example, be in the back office packaging or whatever. Be humble about it because it's not going to be easy to find a job. I will not give you a timeline because I don't know Riihimäki myself, plus it depends on you. You have to be active. That I can say. All right, let's jump into the chat for a while. Let's see. Let's go a bit backwards. All right, we have a comment from Ivailo. Hi, Oliver. I hope you're doing well. I am. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well as well. I'm planning on signing up for a master's degree in governance law at the University of Helsinki. Cool. That is really cool. Can you tell me what are the career opportunities? No, because I don't have prior experience or personal experience in law degrees or legal jobs. However, I can say that if you graduate, it doesn't matter what your major is. If you graduate as a master's in law from the University of Helsinki, you will have excellent career opportunities because it is the best law school in Finland, hands-on. So you will not have any problems. Finding part-time job while doing your degree, if you want to work part-time, that is going to be difficult. However, after graduation, you should have no problem. Pro tip: while you study your degree at the university, don't sit at the library 24/7. Instead, try to network and get to know as many people as possible. Local students, career, for example, company representatives, go to different career events, career evenings, and try to push yourself into the Finnish try to push yourself into the local student and corporate networks as much as possible. Because that's going to help you find a job afterwards. Definitely. So, but yeah, you will definitely have good job opportunities. Atreon saying, I'm doing a bachelor's in science technology in a yliopisto university. Can I do a master's in computer sciences if I do a minor, which is 20 credits in CS related course? Yeah, probably. It depends on the university itself. So if you apply if you apply, if you go to do a master's at, I'm sorry, if you continue to do a master's in the same university, then it is highly likely that you will be able to do change your master's into computer sciences. But before you actually, before you go too far with the computer sciences minor, contact the faculty, contact the computer sciences faculty and one of the professors there, or for example the study coordinators there, and ask them about this, because they will know the correct answer to this. For example, at Aalto University, if you were to do a minor in computer sciences, I think you should be able to jump into the to do a master's in computer sciences, but it might require that you do some specific courses, because especially if your bachelor's degree is a very specific, or it's different than computer sciences. So you might have to do a couple of courses of math and physics, for example. But contact your study coordinator. This is a really good question. A general answer is yes, but make sure that it is true. How is the bachelor's in computer sciences in Aalto? Oh yeah, I answered this already. It's really good. Ismail saying great value. Thank you very much, Ismail. Awesome to have you here. And Jochen, studio is a good time to listen to you. I'm not sure what you're doing right now, but I hope that you're doing fine. No, I really hope that you're getting some value out of this. Labib asking, what should I do to get a full scholarship in Aalto? Oh, sorry, that I got already. It was in the form. Momo asking, do you suggest applying by joint application or separate application, and is separate application period started? I think I don't remember out of the top of my head. The joint application system is opening up in December. I would recommend that you apply through that because there's more opportunities through the joint application system. Excuse me. I personally don't remember exactly the differences between joint and separate applications. I'm actually going to make a video about this in a couple of weeks, so I will do a lot of background research for it. But what is good for you to know is that joint applications are going to open in December, and there's going to be the largest amount of kind of open degree options are going to be open during the December-January application period, so I would recommend applying during December. Blaze saying, oh, that one I got as well. Tech Guy PH saying, thank you for answering my question, Oliver. Regards, Blake. Oh, awesome. You are welcome. I hope that you got value out of it. And if you have any further questions, if you want me to elaborate on any of the things that I talked about, please let me know either in the chat or in the forum, so I can talk about the topic more. Aaron saying, I wonder what my rank was in the military. Like Laura said, were you a super commander? Actually, that's funny. So I was in the military for 1 year, so I did kind of the full year. You usually do either 9 months or 12 months. And I was actually what is the exact term in English? I was basically a squad leader in a sharpshooter military police regiment. So I was basically trained as a squad leader, but then I specialized in sharpshooting and military police work. So it's a really weird combination, and it actually sucks because we half of the time we just stood at a gate and checked people's paperwork, and then half of the time we were on the range shooting with really cool guns. So positives and negatives, but it was actually a lot of fun. The Finnish military service is very much different from, for example, I've heard a lot of really bad stories about, or tough stories, especially about Russia. It's completely different from Russia, or the Russian military service. I also had a South Korean friend who told me about their 2-year mandatory military service, 2 or 3, and it's really rough there. But it's for obvious reasons, because they have their neighbors who basically, which means that their military service has to be very strict. Ours is very much different. We focus on the Finnish Defense Force focuses on educating people on becoming soldiers. They don't emphasize bullying and you know the kind of stuff that you can, for example, see in the American TV about their military. So it's more intellectual, I would say, in the Finnish military. Also considering that we are all around 18, 19, 20, or when we go there, and people have already graduated high school, and some people actually are already studying at a university. So since we basically run through almost the entire Finnish male population through the military, it's very diverse. And this means that the military is also able to utilize the diversity of ideas and skill sets that we have. So the Finnish military is a very interesting, or Finnish Defense Force, which it is called, is a very interesting institution, and it has been needed in the history, if you've ever read about Finnish history. Gast, you've been really helpful for a lot of students, and I was one of them. Currently in Vaasa. Kiitos paljon. You're most welcome. Awesome to hear that if I was able to help you actually get a place, or if not to get a place, but to help you integrate into Finland. I'm really hoping that you're having a good time in Vaasa. Actually, let me know, do you actually have snow already in Vaasa? Because we had first snow already in Lapland last week, and I got some pictures from my parents, and it looks so good. It looks so beautiful. Ashwim is asking, what is the difference between university and University of Applied Sciences? Ashwim, I ask you to go back like 45 minutes in the stream, because I spoke almost 20 minutes about this topic, explaining the differences between universities and universities of applied sciences. I don't want to go through everything again, because again it took me quite a while to explain it. Also, I will have a video about this coming up in the next coming weeks, where I go into more detail about it. So if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to have the all notifications on, so that when I post my video about universities versus universities of applied sciences, you will not miss when I get it online. All right, Urja Doshi saying, hi Oliver, I am Bachelor's of Product Design student. Cool. I was looking for courses in Human Factors Engineering and HCI in Finland. Are you aware of any such courses? That is a very good question. I am not aware. I actually don't even know what Human Factors Engineering means. However, Urja, if you want to talk about this more, if you have a LinkedIn profile, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Write me a small note or message about who you are, and you can, for example, copy paste the same message that you have in the chat, and I will then accept your connect request on LinkedIn, and we can talk there a bit more. Or if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you can also contact me on Instagram, but I will answer a bit more slowly there, because a lot of people are contacting me through there. I would love to help you find a program. Sounds super interesting, but it will take me a bit of time to do the research. Labib, you are most welcome. If you have any further questions, or if you want me to elaborate on any of the topics, just let me know either in the chat or in the Google form that I have linked in the description box below, and I'd love to help you even more. Ashwim asking, is it worth taking admission to University of Applied Sciences? This is not a yes or no question. It fully depends on your aspirations. What do you want to study? What do you want to become when you're all grown up? Go ahead and check out the explanation from during this live stream, because I go really into detail about the differences, what you can do and what you cannot do at universities, as well as universities of applied sciences. That should answer your question as well. Ashwin saying also, I do have IT experience about 5 years. Is it possible to get a job once I get admitted? Yes, especially if you have 5 years of work experience in IT, depending, of course, on what you do, what is your speciality. Then I would say that you have pretty good chances on getting a job after you are admitted to study in Finland and after you have arrived to Finland. Ermek, Mama Sidikov. I hope that's close. Saying, hi Oliver, I have an apartment related question. Where can I find an inexpensive option in Jyväskylä? Just a moment. Ermek, please let me know in the chat. I guess you are going to study in Jyväskylä. If not, then this is not going to help you. But there you go. Use that link. Go and check out that website for student housing in Jyväskylä. And basically, you were the modern Simo Häyhä. Well, Simo Häyhä didn't use a scope, so I wouldn't say that. Plus, also, we have to take into account that Simo is he's pretty much a national hero. So thank you. That's a compliment. But I'd say that Simo is still a bit above my pay grade. Cool, Ermek. In that case, check out the link that I provided. You should find all the answers that you are seeking, answers to all the questions that you're seeking through that link. Ashwin, of course, no problem. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Also, go ahead and please go through the entire video catalog that I have currently on my channel, especially the ones where I discuss jobs in Finland. There's not that many videos considering work currently on the channel, but I'm making them making more all the time. Also, as mentioned, put on notifications so that you will not miss out when I actually have those new videos coming out about the different school types and then the career opportunities. I'm going to start focusing quite a lot on work and career development and job seeking in Finland during autumn and especially during spring, because the spring is the most active job recruitment season in Finland. So there is going to be a lot of valuable information for you guys, and those videos are going to help you basically. They're going to help you a lot. So make sure to be subscribed and actually join, have the notifications on, because that is going to make sure that you will see the videos when they come online. MMKH asking, what's the difference between soldiers and soldiers of Odin? Well, soldiers of Odin, according to Wikipedia, is defined as an anti-immigrant and white supremacist group founded in Finland. So there's a bit of a difference there. So they have nothing to do with the military. They are a right-wing group that is anti-immigrant, and they are. I have nothing in common with them. So they have nothing to do with the military. It's just the word soldier is just soldier. So they think that they're soldiers of the god Odin for some reason. I don't know. Not cool people. All right, there's one more question in the form from Karna from Peru, who is applying in the next application period to study education and globalization. Cool. Oh, actually, no, you had a question earlier, so yeah, never mind. The question is, I'm mainly looking forward to applying to Helsinki University, but I'm also interested in Aalto University. What do you know about this university and its education program? Well, first of all, Oulu Oulu is basically on the complete opposite side of Finland. So University of Helsinki is, of course, in Helsinki, which is in the southernmost tip of Finland, and Oulu is far up north, so basically almost in Lapland, so it's quite far. The University of Oulu is really good. I have a couple of friends who have studied there. But what I've understood from them is that a lot of the people who study there don't stay there to work, but they come to Helsinki or somewhere else. I'm not sure why. Might be the climate. That could be one thing, especially for international students. But of course, Oulu is a very big city. It's a very large city, and they, for example, have a lot of technology companies there. But I think that, for example, business students and students that are specialized in more niche degrees have more opportunities in South or in the capital region. But let's say this way, if you're not able to get admitted to Helsinki, if it's too tough, then definitely apply to Oulu. There's nothing wrong with it. University of Helsinki is more highly ranked, and I know that their student community is excellent. They have holy crap, their campus is in the dead center, literally in the dead center of Helsinki. It's one of the best locations in Helsinki, actually, where their campus is. So it's really cool if you would actually get to study there. So I would say Helsinki priority number one. But if you can't get in there, if it's too tough, then Oulu is a good number two choice. All right, the next question comes from Topoyo, and it's a long question. No, sir, there's two questions. Hi, Oliver. I have a number of questions. Number one, what is meant by credits earned? When doing research on that, so that I can gather required documents on time, I noticed most universities want a transcript to place the credits earned, so I'm a bit confused if those are credit hours of a course per week, semester, or year, or if that means the grade earned. Right, I think they are the credit hours, but you have to transfer them into. So what they mean is, in Finland we use the European standard, which is ECTS credits. They are basically all right. So let me just pull this up really quickly. Just let me hold. Bear with me for a moment. All right. So credit in Finland, when we're talking about credits, this actually comes from the University of Helsinki website. Credits measure progress in studies. The number of credits earned depends on the scope and requirement of each course. 1 credit corresponds to approximately 27 hours of work. The scope of a bachelor's degree is 180 credits, 180, while the scope of a master's degree is 120 credits, 120 credits. In total, the 2 degrees require the completion of 300 credits. When distributed over the target duration of 5 years, this means the completion of 60 credits per year. Right. So based on this, I would guess that they mean the credit hours. However, I'm not sure if you have to transfer them into ECTS credits. What I recommend you to do is to contact the university admission services. It's going to be formulated admissions at and then the ending for the university email .fi. Ask them how should you actually give them the credits, because I'm not sure if they can accept the local credit hour markings, or how do you say? But that's probably what they're talking about. And then the second question is, this might sound a bit stupid. No, there's no stupid questions here, but it's on the certified copy of. But it's on the certified copy of educational certificate. All right. Unfortunately, I didn't really understand what you meant with the question. So if you mean that the credit hours are in the certified copy of the educational certificate, yeah, then that's the thing that you're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. I'm getting tired. More questions from Topoya. I'm sorry, no, never mind. Next question comes from Aaron. I wonder if international people could join the Finnish army without having Finnish citizenship. no, unfortunately, you are not able to do it. You have to have a Finnish citizenship. Plus, you could also get paid by joining the army or the police. No. So, first of all, the military service that we have to do, which is mandatory, is not paid because it's a conscript service. We get like a day payment, which is like a couple of euros per day, but no one goes there for that. You cannot join the Finnish army without a Finnish citizenship, not as a conscript and not as a professional. Second thing, you can't get a job in the Finnish police force if you don't have a Finnish citizenship. And in addition, I think that you also need to do your Finnish military service as well in order to work as a police. And I also think that if anyone wants to be considered a citizen of another country, he or she must enroll into the army. So, right. Saying also that, sorry, this is an unpopular opinion. Actually, not necessarily. So what is actually not known to a lot of people is that if you are a male and you want to get a Finnish citizenship, and I think that if you get a citizenship before you're 30, then you might have to enroll into the military service, so that 1 year service. People who are over 30 and get a Finnish citizenship don't have to do it. But for example, I have a friend, a study friend, schoolmate who is Russian, and he's 27, and he just got his Finnish citizenship, and he's going to be drafted next year, most likely. So he has to do his 1 year in the military. All right, then I'll jump into the chat for just a second, and then I think that we're done for today. Urja saying, sure, I will definitely connect with you on LinkedIn. Awesome, I will talk a bit more with you there. Ismaila saying, I want to come to Finland for studies. Which city will you advise me to go to? Depends on the school that you want to apply to and the degree that you want to do, but of course Helsinki is the most popular. Turku, Vaasa, Oulu, Jyväskylä, Joensuu, all of these are very popular student cities or university cities as well. Again, depends on the degree that you want to do, because not all cities offer, or not all universities offer every single degree. So Arjuna saying that you make it sound like I will get to know Santa if I choose Oulu. So actually Santa Claus doesn't live in Oulu. He lives in Rovaniemi, which is quite a bit more up north than Oulu. But basically, yeah, you will definitely have a lot of snow in Oulu if you go there. And then we have a question from Dennis. I'm thinking of coming to Finland to study in 2 years. Your videos are great. I hope you continue. Thank you very much. Dude, you're very much welcome. I really am glad that you guys are actually getting some value out of these videos. I think that's it for today. No, actually, Aaron saying something, but wait, Alexei made a video about it, and he said that you'll get paid, plus I was talking about getting paid outside the military draft, meaning going back to it as a full... Oh, right, okay. So yeah, sure. If you become a professional soldier in the Finnish military, then yeah, sure. Of course, you get paid. Actually pretty well as well. Depending on whether you go to the military academy, which is basically like a university for officers, or if you just go work as a CEO, basically there. But I don't have that many details about it. But yeah, definitely you could work as a professional, but you would need to have done the military service prior, and in order to do that, you have to be a citizen. Anyhow, guys, I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for joining us, joining me, everyone else, into the live chat, live stream. Again, if this is the first time you are visiting the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to learn more about studying and working in Finland. Also, if you're not yet a part of our Discord server, where we are building a community of people interested in studying and working in Finland, go all the way up in the live chat or into the description box below, where I have a link to join the Discord server, and I'd be really glad to see you there. In addition, I would really appreciate if you could give this live stream a thumbs up, because that will show YouTube that this stream is actually giving you guys value. And it will hopefully grow the channel even a bit more. Also, one more time, thank you very much for Arni Wooden Watches, or Arni, for sponsoring this video. If you are interested in getting a wooden Arni watch with made of Finnish wood, you can actually use my discount code for 10% off out of any purchases from their website. All right, guys, I will see you next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. on the regular live stream. That's Helsinki time, so EEST, Eastern European Standard Time.